Here we go again. It's a lovely dream for me to sit in here across and seeing Toni and Jeanne together, because if you can't have fun with these girls, you won't have fun with anyone, will you? No. Do you know a bloke called Llewellyn-Jones? Mm-hmm. You know his book, Every Woman?
No.
Well, I've got to tell you, this, I think it was first published in 1971, 72. Patty and so many of her girlfriends declare this to be, for a woman, the Bible. And it's sold brilliantly ever since it first came out in, as I say, I think 71. And he's on the show today. Please welcome Derek Llewellyn-Jones.
Fellas together.
Yes, good to see you again, Derek.
Good to see you, Bert.
Am I right in saying 1971?
You are right in saying 1971.
How many have you sold?
Well, they say 2 million. I haven't counted them.
Dear.
I get up to 100 and I start losing count after that.
You don't need to do talk shows, do you?
You want to bet?
All that money?
The publishers get all the money. Authors get nothing.
Don't tell Toni that, because she's just signed to write her life story.
I'll give you advice later.
Yeah, very well.
How to deal with your publisher.
Yes.
Before they deal with you.
I see.
It'll cost you.
Probably.
Derek, who's your literary agent?
My literary agent?
Yes.
Myself.
Oh,
yes.
You do your own agent?
No, yes, I used to.
What happened? This might be very important to tell.
No. I just grew out of it. I got to know the people. Mm-hmm. Literary agents take a commission.
I see. So you went right off the top, eh?
Right off the top.
Derek, when you wrote Every Woman, did you imagine that it was going to be the huge success that it turned out to be?
I didn't, in fact. It was all by chance. I'd written 2 textbooks. And one day, I was sitting in the hospital I was then working at, and the wife of the doctor said, "You've written marvellous textbooks," my husband says. Sure, she didn't read them, you see. "Why don't you write a book for us?" The seed was there, so I wrote a book. I didn't think it would sell. It did. It was wonderful. The first edition sold, something like 200,000 copies, which was marvellous.
So for 89, and indeed all the reprints that you've done, was there any updating that you were required to do? Because I would imagine for women, conditions would be so much different today.
Oh, it was a tremendous lot. In fact, it's been great fun doing the updating, because I keep up with what's happening, not only in the literature, the medical literature, but with talking with women. You know, they say, "That's a bit of old rubbish you wrote last time." It's not like that. You're a fella, you don't understand. And I say, "Don't I?" And they say, "No." Well, I say, "Tell me like it is." And that's how it changes.
What has changed so dramatically?
I think the biggest change is a change of attitude. In 1971, when a woman had a baby, and a lot of this book is about having babies, it's pretty central in a woman's life, they tell me. Patty tells you, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And her mother.
Yes, and her mother too. So as it's pretty central in a woman's life, it's the attitude. In 1971, doctor knew everything. Doctor told you. Now women have said, "We know things, we want to talk." And doctors are having to learn to explain, to give women choices, particularly in childbirth. I mean, women lay on that hard bed and they laboured and laboured.
What do they do now?
They sit on bean bags, or they stand
or
up.
Balloon.
Or balloon. If the balloon goes pop, you got a problem.
That's right.
Frightens the baby. No, the whole lot. The attitude of nurses and doctors towards women. Women now are participants in the birth of their child. We ought to stop calling it labour. We ought to call it childbirth. That's what it is.
Exactly. You know, I was saying to Toni before the way in which she broke through in television, and I was lucky enough to be there and see people's attitudes change completely to a female performer. Toni came through an era in theatre where she had to stand by, together with other wonderful performers too, and see third-raters come over from America and England and take jobs that they should have been doing. When Toni broke through in television, and I mean, it seems nothing today, because you've got people like Wendy Harmer, who did such a brilliant job on The Big Gig, but back in those years, it just wasn't done. But even though it was accepted by the audience and accepted by fellow performers, a woman, as a woman, was still not really accepted back in those years. So how much easier would it be today for someone like Toni? Much easier.
Much easier. I had the same experience. When I publicised the first edition of Every Woman in England, I was interviewed by a journalist who wrote for the Daily Telegraph. And she had centre-page billing, and she wrote up Every Woman on the centre page. And I said, "How did you get the job?" She said, "With great difficulty. First, I had to have a first-class degree from Oxford. Secondly, I had to work my way up through the newspaper. And then I got the job." And she said the guy I replaced had been a cadet journalist.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
What was the breakthrough, do you reckon?
In time or in persons? I think it was happening. I think Germaine Greer had an influence from that side. I think was much more important, though women decided they should speak up. And when a lot of women speak, I'll say it makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And eventually you make enough noise, people listen.
I think there's a worry that perhaps in time the problem could be reversed, probably not as badly as it has been for women, but the one complaint I think that thinking men could make today without wanting to cause a war is that perhaps sexism is slowly reversing itself, and in some areas, only some areas, men are finding themselves being discriminated against.
Well, they tell me that sexually men are feeling threatened.
I don't believe a word of it.
Don't you?
Women are so nice to guys. How could they feel threatened? At least the women I know are. Look at these wonderful ladies, they wouldn't threaten a fella.
Although don't they, I think a lot of men are a bit sort of terrified, and they, especially American men, can I just say
Yes.
that, because they're sort of subjugated by these strong women. I mean, Toni, you probably know that.
Well,
I'm not saying you're a strong woman, I mean living in America.
Well, I have had problems throughout my life because of being successful in my profession. It's very, very difficult, you know, to
Yeah, I think
maintain a
that's true.
relationship, and it's very difficult.
Was the Mr. Lamond thing a problem?
Yes, very big.
How did you overcome that? I mean, I suppose that
When someone finds out, will they let me know?
there's no way out.
I haven't found the way out.
Now, women do have a lot more to cope with. You have to be not only a superstar, you have to be a superwoman, a super wife, a super lover, and a super housewife.
Exactly. And I ran myself crazy to try and do it.
I know this.
And something's got to give, and it's usually your psyche.
Yeah. What about the very nice man with whom you were very, very close? The one who came to Australia with you 7 or 8 years ago? I just can't think of his name.
Kazu.
Yes, delightful man. What happened there?
Well, it just was one of those things. It just died on the vine, and we're good friends now. But it just died. He couldn't cope with what he fell in love with me for, which was my lightened up on the stage when we were together. He was threatened by it.
Yeah.
So I just don't bother now. It's just not. I just work.
So there's no one in your life?
Nope, don't want it.
We're holding auditions tonight. We'll take this break and we're back with you after this break to introduce Judy Connelly.